Alright guys, so as you guys know, whenever you go to a Comic-Con and everything, it's always fun. Everyone's always in costume and everything like that. But, you know, whatever happens if, you know, you're walking through and, you know, from the crowd you start overheating, or, you know, your costume gets so hot, you start feeling yourself get dehydrated, or you're going through at some point and your costume gets damaged or something. Or maybe you've just been dealing with a bunch of crap that people have been giving you. Well, this is where you come to this, guys. So here at the Comic-Con, they have what's called the Cosplay Rest and Repair. So basically what this is just kind of like a safe area for, you know, cosplayers to come to. They can rest, relax a little bit, kind of get away from the crowds. And so here we got, what's your name again, sir?
Bill Knight.
We have Bill Knight here, and he's just going to kind of talk to us about kind of what he does for this.
Well, this is actually my wife's program. She started it about 3 years ago when we took her to her first Comic-Con at Phoenix. Okay. It was a very large con. She was very overwhelmed by it, but she's a professional costumer. And she, once she got recovered, started looking at all the costumes and was really fascinated with them. Then at the food court, we ran across Darth Vader. Darth Vader was tucked up in a corner trying to stuff a hot dog under his mask while people were asking him for pictures. And she asked us, don't these guys have someplace to go? Don't they have a place to get some rest, to get something to eat? We told her, well, no. Well, she thought about it for a minute and said, somebody should do something about that. Then got a very panicked look on her face. And she said, I just volunteered, didn't I? So she came, and the next convention she talked to Jim Burleson at Albuquerque Comic-Con and asked if there was a room that she could use to set up a break area that the cosplayers could go to, get a little water, get some snacks. And that happened 2 years ago, and this is what's developed. This is a small con. We have a little tiny area, but it's secluded. We have an enclosed area where we have no photography. The cosplayers can get out of costume without disappointing their fans, because as she found out those 3 years ago, nobody wants to see Darth Vader eating a hot dog.
That is very true, and you know, it helps for those, because I mean, like, the cosplayers and everything, they're still people. You know, they're still people. They get tired, you know, they don't want, you know, a continuous crowd of people around them. And so honestly, what you're doing with this, you know, you and your wife, is absolutely awesome. You know, good on you for doing something like this. And definitely just keep up the good work, man. Definitely, you know, absolutely, we appreciate what you do.
I'd like to point one other thing out that the Cosplay Rest and Repair Room is important and becoming famous for, is right here, the safe zone. The first thing we do, you know, as you said, people get overheated. So if they have physical distress, come on down here. This is perhaps our most important thing. Cosplay's not consent. A lot of people work very hard on costumes to be very accurate. Some of these costumes are a little suggestive. Absolutely. People forget that these are performers. They're not out there, you know. People should behave. They should not give these guys any hassle, but it still happens. We're here to make sure that doesn't happen. If we find that happening, we'll work with con security. We'll make sure these people are identified and shown their way out. We also look out for lost children. We've said that the children seldom get lost. Parents get lost all the time. So we ask the kids to come here. The kids can take a break while we send superheroes out to find their parents.
That is awesome. And you know, and this is just the kind of thing that a lot of people obviously don't think about, you know, at first whenever they think of Comic-Con. And honestly, you know, the safety aspect of it, and just, you know, being able to look out for the performers, you know, the cosplayers and everything, it definitely needs to be, you know, one of the first things that people think about. And obviously, it's not always thought about that way. And so it's very good that, you know, we have people like you and your wife, you know, doing this, having these set up for, you know, for people that they can come here, get their rest, you know, get away from the crowd for a bit. So, you know, it's this program is awesome. It really is. So,
the joys of doing it.
Absolutely. You take care, sir, and have a good rest of your con. Alright guys, so our next interview for today is Zachry Wheeler, and as you can tell, he is a book author of both Transient and Max and the Multiverse. So quick little cool thing about Transient is that if you look at his little banner behind us, that's about to be a feature film. That's cool, isn't it? So tell us, when did you find out that this was going to be a feature film, and what was your initial reaction?
Oh my goodness, so oddly enough, this all happened from the Albuquerque Comic-Con. Yes, so what had happened is there were a couple of movie producers just scouting the con for ideas, and just so happened that the pitch I gave for Transient was something that they were looking for. After a negotiation process took place, and it ended up they secured the option for the movie rights, and it's been going ever since that point. So it's been pretty exciting. It's still pushing it along. The script's been written, crews are being shot, so it's coming to fruition, which is exciting times.
Yeah, absolutely. That is incredible. You know, definitely good on you. You know, and speaking of the Albuquerque Comic Con, this does remind me of you know, because we interviewed people at the Albuquerque Comic Con as well, and you might have met them, David Pinter and them, creators of Indigo Ignited. We met them there, and now we're meeting you, you've got yourself a feature film coming up. It's kind of a trend we got going on here. We just got to keep on trying to find the people that are, you know, being into the big production at all the Comic Cons.
It's so exciting to be part of the Albuquerque movie scene too. It's what I do know is that the plan is to film in Albuquerque. Now the producer, they have a partner out in LA, so it's two production companies that are overseeing the whole project. But seeing as how Transient takes place in Seattle, so a lot of the but it's because it's a much of a more night-based story with inside bars and city streets and all that kind of stuff. They don't necessarily have to be in Seattle, so they are looking to film in Albuquerque. At least that's the plan. That's how I understand it. But it's going quite well. I'm hoping they're able to translate a lot of the different ideas in the book to film, because there's a lot of things that just can't be done from a logistics standpoint. But I don't see any reason that filming in Albuquerque is going to have any impact on the story. Plus, I also do some extras work just to basically get me out of the house, because I'm a writer. So it's fun to be able to be at the studios and just see how big of an operation it is. So I'm thrilled that Albuquerque is such a great place for production work right now. So that's to be a part of it.
Yeah, that's incredible. So what can you tell us, kind of a little tidbit about the story of Transient?
All right, so without giving too much away, I'll give you a little bit of the backstory here. So Transient is a dystopian deconstruction of vampire lore. Now, while that simmers, it is what I got to do with this story, which I had a lot of fun with, was I took the widely abused trope of a young adult vampire love story, and I shoved it through the meat grinder of post-apocalyptic science fiction. It is a nice, dark, sinister, morally ambiguous read. So a lot of fans like to talk about it as the antithesis of Twilight. So it's a much heavier read.
Probably still a better love story than Twilight, though.
Yes, a little bit. Yeah.
Well, that's awesome, dude. I'm really looking forward to it. I'll definitely keep an eye out for that, man, because that is awesome, and that definitely sounds extremely exciting. And then what about your other book here, Max and the Multiverse?
So I got kind of a light side, dark side thing going here. So Transient is a heavier, much more meaty read. Now Max and the Multiverse is a science fiction comedy along the lines of Douglas Adams. So think Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. For modern audiences, think Guardians of the Galaxy. It is a wacky space romp with all sorts of crazy characters. There's a cyborg house cat with a bad attitude. There's a pair of orange lesbians. It's good family fun. So, what prompted me to go down this route is, aside from Douglas Adams, I mean, think of a well-known, lucrative science fiction comedy writer. It's like that you just don't know very many. So in a way, I want to take up that mantle. It's like Douglas Adams is my hero, my literary hero. So I even dedicate the book to him. It's like I was, the dedication I put in was, there are only a few ways to do comedy right and a million ways to do comedy wrong. And that's where Douglas Adams was a huge inspiration to me, because he had an unapologetic wit that could nail you from the first sentence. And I always loved that about his writing, and I just can't find that. And once you get to the end of his library, which I absolutely celebrate, there was this kind of emptiness. It's like I wanted more. And it's like, well, I'm gonna write it.
Very cool.
I feel like I'm almost writing these kind of stories as a tribute to him. So.
That's awesome, man. And you know, they both sound awesome. They both sound really cool. I'm really going to keep an eye out for Transient, you know, once it comes out as a film, because the way you explain the story and everything definitely sounds like something that is going to be really worth seeing. So I hope the best for you, man. Absolutely.
Fingers crossed it turns out to be a really engaging motion picture.
Absolutely, dude. Well, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
And you enjoy the rest of your con. Alright guys, we are here with Batmanda and Jacqui Daniels, cosplay models here at Duke City Comic Con. So first off, tell us a little bit about yourself. We'll start here with Batmanda.
So this is my 7th con, or 7 year of cons, I guess, 7th year.
Very nice.
I should say. I've lost track of how many cons at this point, but I like this little con. It's nice and small, and everyone's like really close together, so you can kind of see everyone. It's like a nice little family reunion. You get to go see all your friends.
Right. Very cool.
I'm a model. This is my 4th year doing Comic-Con, so I enjoy them, obviously. I like dressing up.
Very cool. All right, awesome. So aside from coming to the Comic-Cons, how long is this for you guys actually doing modeling in general?
About 5 years doing modeling for me.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Very cool. And you?
10 years.
10 years,
Yeah.
wow.
It's been a while.
Model veteran over here, you definitely know what's going on. No, you don't look a day over 20. Sensei, the master,
My
right?
Jedi Master.
How long until the student surpasses the master?
I'm just kidding.
You're trying? Uh-oh. She's close? Oh, jeez. So you guys are really enjoying this con right now?
Yes.
So did you all have a panel at all today? I noticed you all came in just a little bit late in the con.
A little bit. We had errands and then masks. So
Trying to make sure people could recognize us with our masks on, so we don't want to scare anyone.
Yeah, I passed by for him. It took me a couple minutes. I was like, "Who? Oh!" Well,
See, it worked.
it did. It did work. But yeah, guys. So in a little bit, we're going to get a shot of all your cover photos and all your photo op photos over there. Definitely have a really cool spread going on there. Looks really good, guys, and we're really hoping that you all continue to enjoy the con today. Thank you both so much for your time, and you know, just as always, you know, just keep it up. You guys are awesome. Okay guys, so as you can see, I am surrounded here by a group of very lovely ladies right now, known as the Zelda Bunnies. As you can tell, they are cosplaying different Zelda characters, but with a twist. They all have bunny ears. Who would have thought it? But anyways guys, so we're going to go starting from here, going on down the line, and girls, go on and introduce yourselves.
I'm Shiki, as Cheek from Legend of Zelda.
Very cool.
I'm Elgrave's cosplay as Midna.
Very nice. That turned out awesome, by the way.
Thank you.
I'm maddestmadicosplay as Princess Zelda. I'm Lady Zia cosplay as Link. And I'm Polgara51 as Navi.
Hey, listen! All right, so what gave you all the idea? So, okay, so first off, who wants to be... Shut up, phone. Who wants to be the initial, like, talker for the group? Just kind of, like, everyone kind of stay a little bit, and I'll just kind of move over to each one of you.
I can put in my 2 cents and then
Yeah, that'd be perfect. All right, so what gave you guys the idea of these Zelda bunnies? What gave you the whole idea to make a group of bunny-eared Zelda characters?
We first saw some people doing it on Instagram. We saw a Zelda, a Link, a Midna, and a Ganon, surprisingly. And we thought like we could pull that together for Duke City. And
Very cool, yeah.
and a Navi, and then we have a Skull Kid coming in later on today.
Oh, very cool. That'll be cool to see. So what were your all's initial thoughts of it whenever this idea of Zelda bunnies was kind of thrown out there?
Oh, I was just super excited.
I was super excited because this is like the first group cosplay that I've done, so I'm really happy about it.
I was a little nervous. This is the sexiest cosplay I've done, but it's a lot of fun. So.
Not wrong.
I cosplayed Midna a few years ago, so as soon as the idea was suggested, I was like, I get first dibs on Midna. If anybody else does it, I'll be so mad. So I claimed her like pretty early on. Yeah, like
immediately just called dibs. Just like mine, no one can have it. Screw all of you.
No, that's exactly how it went.
Well, that's awesome, and obviously it turned out really cool. So are you guys, is this going to be kind of like a recurring thing for the next few Comic-Cons? Or are you guys going to probably come up with a whole different group and everything?
I don't know, man. What do you think? Maybe. I mean, we try to do like mix it up and do group cosplays every once in a while. So, but who knows? We'll see.
I'd like to have it be a recurring thing, but if not, my ears come off, so I can just be Navi.
It's always so much fun to do group cosplays. So.
I'll probably wear this again without them, but I'll probably wear it with them again too.
Well, I was going to ask if y'all had extra bunny ears. I could just be like just a random character, but I'd still be a bunny with y'all. What if y'all did Fallout bunnies? You know, super mutants. What?
We should have brought the robe so you could have been Hugh Hefner Ganon.
Why is this not a thing? Why this needs to be a thing in the next Comic-Con. Girls, we all have to keep in contact with each other because in the next Comic-Con, I will be Hugh Hefner Ganon with all my Zelda bunnies. Well, thank you all so much for your all's times. Again, once more, we're going to go through and introduce yourselves one last time.
I'm Shiki as Sheik.
Elle Graves as Midna.
Jack the Ripoff as Jack the Ripoff.
Maddest Cosplay as Princess Zelda. Lady Zia Cosplay as Link.
And Polgara51 as Navi.
All right, girls, thank you all so much for your time, and we really hope you all enjoy the rest of your Comic-Con. All right, guys, so we have a bit of a sit-down interview now, a bit more relaxed. As you guys can see, I am here with Kitty Kaboom. She is another cosplay model here at the Duke City Comic-Con. And so first of all, tell us, what's your cosplay? Explain to us your cosplay.
Well, what I'm wearing right now is Maki from Marvel. Sorry, I'm looking forward to Marvel Infinite, so that's all in my head right now. Actually from Capcom versus SNK 2, and she is also a Final Fight character, so she was part of the story in that. So actually Streets of Rage, but she intertwines with like the Final Fight characters. So she's like an old school kind of like 80s Capcom character. But I really like her, and I hope they bring her back in another game sometime soon because she's really cool. So.
Yeah, I'd probably have to check that out. I'm not too well versed in the Capcom universe, but I will have to check that out. That sounds really cool.
I'm a huge Capcom fan and an SNK fan, so you know, gaming is part of the reason I got into cosplay. So yeah, it's now part of life. It always has been, though.
That's awesome. So how long have you been doing the? I guess not just the cosplay modeling, but just modeling in general.
You know, the cosplay I started doing 16 years ago, and after being popular in the cosplay world, it opened up all these doors to people wanting me for commercials or TV show pilots or, you know, movie trailer pilots and, you know, stunt acting and fight choreographies and all this cool stuff. Once they found out I knew martial arts, they're just like, hey, well, can you do this? Can you do this? And I'm like, you know, I'll try that. Yeah, sure, sounds like fun. Yeah, wires, let's go. So it's a good times. Actually, one of my favorite things that I filmed was a kids TV show pilot. It was a mix of Power Rangers and Godzilla, and we actually had to do stunts and fight in these full covered like creature mascot outfits. So I was like some spider chick, and it was really cool being in that. I was like a female werewolf, and and we had all these wires all over the set, and we had this huge like mountain for like the fighting arena, because I guess there was like a story they all fought to represent like their different planets and universes, and but some shady stuff was going down, and that was part of like the main plot. So
that's really cool.
Yeah, it was kind of crazy and fun and scary at times, because you have like limited vision in these giant masks, so it's like really hard to see, especially when people are flinging you around on like wires. But it was fun. It was fun.
That definitely sounds like a fun time, just being swung around like you're like a little doll on the string.
Pretty much, yeah. When I was the spider, I was just like supposed to hop from rock to rock and then like attack the person and then hop back and attack. So it was nonsense, and I loved all of it. It was so great.
That sounds really cool, actually. So yeah, and as you guys can see, she does a lot of different photo shoots with a lot of different cosplays and everything. It all looks legit. The camera definitely loves you. Yeah, you do a. You're obviously very talented, and a lot of people can see that, and we're very happy that you gave us the opportunity to interview you. Thank you so much for giving us this opportunity, and thank you for your time.
Thank you. I really love coming out to like New Mexico and the cons out here. These cons in New Mexico are amazing. People here are great. I love talking to all like the new generation of cosplayers. It's good stuff. I really enjoy it. It's got a way more fun vibe than like the big crazy cons that I'm used to in LA. So I really enjoy being here.
Absolutely. Well, again, thank you very much, and we definitely hope that you enjoy the rest of your Comic-Con.
I will. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Alright guys, so last but not least, we are here with Skylar Patridge, an artist showcasing all of her awesome original and fan-based, comic book based art here at the Duke City Comic Con. So first off, Skylar, why don't you go on and tell us what got you into art in the first place?
I actually have done art about as long as I can remember. My grandmother was very encouraging of it and always had pencils and colored pencils and paper handy for me. So it's always been encouraged growing up. I also had an older brother, which he was very encouraging in reading comics, playing video games, this whole scene and all of the parallel interests. So always been interested in it, always drew comics from a young age, and kind of never really thought I could make a living doing it until I got to be an adult though. So it's been within the last 2 years that I've actually been doing this kind of work and going to shows and trying to actually sell my stuff.
Well, it looks like you definitely had a lot of support growing up to be doing this kind of thing. So generally, when it comes to your art, what kind of style do you generally like to gear yourself toward?
It's definitely comic book influenced, but the content that I actually like to go towards is more dark. My interests lie in sort of horror comics, horror stories, dark, gritty stuff. So a lot of my artwork is very black heavy, so lots of black ink, shadows, contrast between light and dark. So yeah, that's kind of where a lot of my influences come from, has been horror stuff, as well as the comic book style of artwork as well.
Ah, very cool. So with your art and everything, do you have any specific goals or aspirations you're trying to do with your art? Like, are you trying to do comics for anyone in particular or anything of that matter?
Yes, that's really this whole setup, doing these shows, that has been to get my artwork in front of people that want to make comics and tell stories, because ultimately that's what I want to do, is I want to tell stories, be it comic books or otherwise. So right now I'm in the process of pitching a couple of different stories, hopefully through Image, and we'll see what happens with those. So those are sort of in process, and I've recently signed with a publisher out of California, so that will be more of an indie comic going forward, hopefully sometime next year.
Oh, very cool. We wish you the best of luck with that. We hope that starts to take off, and we hope Image takes the stories that you're pitching to them. Yeah, guys, like honestly, like taking a look at some of the artwork that she's got laid out right here, she definitely looks like that, you know, something you could see in a comic for sure, like absolutely certain. But yeah, aside from that, thank you so much for taking the time to talk with us and having this interview. Is there anything you want to say, you know, to maybe like some aspiring artists out there, or anything you want to say to them, maybe some words of encouragement?
My biggest words of encouragement would be don't stop. I stopped for several years and it was really hard to get back into it. Keep doing it. Draw what you want to draw. Don't feel bad if you want to draw anime, if you want to draw manga, if you want to draw comics, if you want to draw fuzzy characters bouncing around, draw what you love.
Hey, you heard it from her, folks. So yeah, again, thank you so much for having the time for us, and enjoy the rest of your con. Alright guys, well that's going to do it for day 2 of Duke City Comic Con. Obviously we had some pretty awesome interviews, met some pretty cool people, and got to showcase a lot of really, you know, big talent around here. So, you know, it was really cool to do this. We hope you enjoyed this. Big shout out to Avery of All the Coins, who was working the camera all day today, in case you guys didn't know that. And, you know, don't forget to check out Jenny Fedora as well. They got their first booth for their first ever Comic-Con to help showcase the channel, and not only that, but also showcase VidMe as the awesome site that it is. As always, guys, if you enjoyed the video, go ahead and leave a thumbs up and a comment down below if you want, and follow if you want to see more content like this. And also, later on, if you decide to support me just a little bit further, just for $1 a month, you get to be an official subscriber and have some access to some pretty cool perks. So as always, guys, until my next video comes out, this is goodbye for now. See you guys.